Welcome to With Us On, Season 6, Episode 42, where you watch Lil Jon Wants to Do What? Season 1, Episode 1. And I don't know what I signed up for. Chris Lorenz.
If you're listening to us, you got to be ready for something. This is Brian.
Music equals life. This is Noah Singer.
Inspirational.
Those are references to the show we watched this week. And if this is your first time listening, we watch a different show each week, discussing it in minute detail. And last week, we watched The Real Dirty Dancing. And we had a poll on Twitter to see what you guys thought of the show. And you guys agreed with us. Middle third show. Tell us what you thought about this show on Twitter at Who Put This On. And but Noah, what did we watch this week?
DJ Little Jon is paired with designer and expert builder Anitra Mekadon, who previously shot DIY Network's Megadens in Atlanta. Little Jon offers skeptical homeowners startling unconventional renovation ideas that seem impossible to execute, with ideas ranging from renovating a ceiling to expand the height of the living room to accommodate huge new windows to gutting the basement to add a fully decked out speakeasy for entertaining. Little Jon and Anitra push homeowners out of their comfort zones with ingenious renovations and ideas that are sure to inspire daring and dramatic transformations. That is Little Jon Wants to Do What? On HGTV, available on Discovery Plus.
Thank you, Noah. So if you're a longtime listener, you probably have noticed we do not really do either HGTV shows or fixer-upper type shows. Like, this might be like the second or third one we've ever done in like how many fucking 300 episodes or whatever we're at. Like, it's not a genre that really differentiates itself like at all in like any aspect between many shows. So we don't tend to do them because they don't tend to change. But this show definitely adds a bit of character with Lil Jon. Lil Jon, the star of this show for sure. Noah, what'd you think about Lil Jon in the show?
I mean, so I'll give some backdrop. On the TV in my house very often is HGTV shows. Fixer Uppers, Building New.
Oh, we got an expert here.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I have seen many of these, and primarily they are fixer-upper renovations. Little Jon adds, I'd say, just a personality you know already, right? So you're not just like meeting everyone for the first time, then they build the character over time. Like, you know what you're getting into, and he brings it strong. And so I think that's like a positive that like it's a little bit nicer to watch because you know what you're getting with him.
Yeah, he's a character, and he's a good character, especially for something like this.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you think about Lil Jon?
I had absolutely no idea what this is going to be like, but I was really hoping that it was going to be Pimp My Ride, but Pimp My House. And it fulfilled every single one of my wildest dreams.
Oh.
I'm not sure I wouldn't call this Pimp My House.
No.
I mean, it had a little bit of that aspect. Like, they didn't go like so overboard, like Exhibit, where the car was not functional anymore, but they did improve it like in really wild ways. Like they added a fucking stage to this.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I know, but like it's just they really threw some stuff in there.
All right, I'll just go over generally what happens in this show. So we got Lil Jon and Anita are the two people designing the house.
Anitra.
Anitra? Oh, thank you.
Anitra, yeah.
Then they go to Joe and Phil's house, and they're going to design the whole basement. It's a whole floor of their house. They're giving $50,000 over to Little Jon and Anitra to turn it into a functional space with requirements, which I have written down. They want a gym, a lounge, a bar, and they have like a living room, bathroom. Is there like the kind of areas they have in this like whole floor of their house? Yeah. And we get to see Little Jon come up with ideas for this space, and then he leaves, and Anitra and this other dude, Phil, or somebody come in. I don't remember.
the
He's
carpenter. It's like general contractor, carpenter, like
Yeah, they
does
gave
it
him
all.
they named him Patty. His name is
Patty.
Patty.
Yeah.
He's a guy. This is Patty. Anyway, he comes in. He does like a lot of they show him doing work, and they like make up the whole space. And there's some conflict with Lil Jon and Anitra, obviously, because it's like got to be some conflict. And then they show the space to Joe and the other woman, and they love it. And that's the end of the episode.
I mean, in the short of it, like,
yeah, that's the short description of the show. I mean, everyone's seen a show like this. They're like, this is what we want, this is what we're going to do, and then we've done it, and here's the results, right? Like, that's the show. Now, if they could just cut out 20 minutes of them doing it, that would be great, but, then they wouldn't have a show. So,
yeah, I mean, there was that show on ABC that was a big one, like the home renovation, like they go to like
Extreme Home Makeover.
Is that the one where like they're like the big reveal and the whole town
the
would
bus,
come out?
move
That bus.
Yeah, that's one of the OG versions of the show. Basically, where they actually use like they had like real money, but they made like real crappy homes apparently. So
really?
I read later that like, just like, because it's just volunteers kind of came and made these houses, so it's not like, you're not getting the best contracting work out of this kind of people. Anyway, back to this show. So Little Jon comes down to this basement, and he's a character. He's pretty fun. He's like, we need to feel the vibes of the group. What are we looking for? What does a space have? What do you need in a space? And I thought he did a really good job of like setting the tone and getting the people comfortable and like making that segment like really enjoyable. Like, this segment can be boring AF because the host can be boring. You're relying on the people to be exciting, and that's never a good thing. Whereas like Lil Jon's just fucking bringing it. He's bringing it out in Anitra. He's bringing it out in the people. Like, they're drinking, they're making jokes, they're like being really homey and like nice and just like fun,
Yeah. He definitely brings it out. And like, I don't know if he's playing the character known as Little Jon, kind of like how Snoop Dogg is like Snoop Dogg. I can't imagine is always on character, right? He's probably just like normal guy in his 50s. It's like, but he's on TV. He's Snoop Dogg.
I don't know. Snoop Dogg is just always high. So that's what I've been told.
I mean, I think that's just the character he plays. He's all about turn down for what, Yeah.
I mean, he definitely probably, turn it up just a little bit. He's got to be him like more than himself. But I'm pretty sure that if this company exists outside the show, which would make sense to me, that this is how he does it. He's always just kind of more Little Jon. Like, that's what people want when they hire Little Jon, is they want the Little Jon in their head. They don't want like boring ass Little Jon that wears a suit to his like, finance job. They want the, DJ that's like quoting his songs, which they did in the show. That's what you want. That's what you pay these people for. Like, they're paying these people. They're paying Little Jon. They're not paying Anitra crap. Like, no one cares about Anitra. No. They're paying Little Jon $50,000 to go and build his awesome basement. And then they can be like, Little Jon designed this basement. It's great.
I mean, he definitely has good taste. Like, I know we're getting into the show a little bit, but like, he does a good job. Like, I give him credit. Like, he is a producer. Like, he's got it down.
Yeah, that was what I'm saying. Like, he did such a good job with his intro with like, one thing I want to say as they go into this house looks exactly like the Home Alone house. It's like brick walls of this, like, the entry area looks fucking the same, and it's huge. It's a huge house. Like, this basement is ginormous.
Yeah, it's a big house. Like, they were in Alpharetta, Georgia. They never say that. They just show it's like somewhere near Atlanta, but there was a little hidden clue if you were looking close enough that you could tell they're in Alpharetta. So it's like straight suburb community.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you told me that you lived in Georgia, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. They only big giant houses. They don't like build anything else. Like,
It sounds like you also need to start playing GeoGuessr if you're getting like tips, clues like that.
Oh, it was a pretty obvious one. Like, so they were hanging out in their kitchen, and the mom had 2 dish towels over the oven handle. One of them was me and my dog talk about you, and the other one was the Real Housewives of Alpharetta.
oh,
What were you doing? Paying attention to the towels? Like,
He
what
was-
happened there?
he's got a lot of time on his hands.
I got tons of time.
lot of
That's
time.
why. Yeah.
I would
You gotta-
look at anything else.
I mean, that's what makes it interesting, right? You got to pick up on the little eggs that are hanging out.
Also, another thing
Fair.
about their house is like their front door just has a giant C on it.
Yeah, what is that? That kind of bothers me. That bothered me so much.
I was like, what are we doing? What is this?
Yeah, that I hated it because they never said their last name either, so we don't know. Like,
It has to be start with a C, right? Like, why else would there be a
so.
giant C on there?
no man, I'm
Or
gonna try to
cookie.
cookie. Cookie.
They're just, it's like after this like winter season, they're like, no more wreath. Let's just put a fucking C on there. Like, we can't just have a bare door. who has a bare door, Noah?
It's a partial wreath.
Oh,
I'm gonna try to find out their last name because we know her name is Joy, right?
all right. Let's talk. I mean, there's not much to say about their basement. It looks like
Yeah.
just like haphazard bunch of garbage in there. There's like a room with 2
Well,
beds that have
I
3
will say-
doors.
It's very sectioned off, right? So it's like if open concept, what everyone wants, it is the complete opposite of open concept. It's a lot of tiny rooms. So I'd say like really in the model of like the 70s when they did that stuff. So maybe that's when the house was built. We can find a Redfin. That'd be A+.
The next level. I hesitate to say everyone wants something, Noah, but sure, like that's the fashion of
Yes.
houses at the moment is open concept, and
It is the fact.
it is on that note, it is weird to me that there are like house fashions, and I'm sure these shows have a big thing to do with like the changing of these fashions, because like in general, like an area
Yeah.
might have a fashion because you'd like go around and see their houses, but like in general, I'm not looking in people's houses. I'm not like doing that. But if you're watching these shows, you're seeing a lot of houses. So you're like, oh, that could be cool. That could be cool. And they just kind of like, the networks could be like, you got to only use things from this thing to make it like, there's just like, probably could be like some second and third level, like stuff going on that you're not aware of. Just like the fashion industry is like
I'd be
doing the same thing.
I never thought about that. I can see that because I mean, again, I've seen so many HGTV shows. Like, they do not seem very coordinated at all. Like, it really looks like they got down the way on how to shoot these, right? Send out the team, we're going to shoot the schedule, like, and then you're just doing your shtick. I'd be surprised they're giving production pointers.
All right, Noah, this is our idea. Let's do it. Let's get the HGTV, and we're like, we're just gonna pitch for you. We're gonna start trying to make more fucking money. Okay. You got to sponsor all these things and all these shows. And then they feed back to us, so we're setting trends, so we can just like we set the trends, which means that we can set the money.
I mean, HGTV's a little twig. They're part of Warner Brother Discovery now. That is a corporate. That is a real company. Warner Brother Discovery. That's a company name.
Yeah.
That owns a whole bunch of networks. Warner Brother Discovery.
Yeah. So a couple things I wrote down about the actual thing is that the cat peed everywhere and it smelled bad. This is when they were doing this, they said to the windows, to the walls. Yeah, which I thought that was pretty funny. It's kind of subtle. You could definitely miss some of the like direct callbacks to the Lil Jon songs, but
Mm.
I thought that
That's
was
also
good.
the best part of it. Yeah, like
I
when
know.
you can just work into the combo like that, and it's just
I mean, you
can
got to
miss it.
work on it. You could not know anything about Little John and watch the show, and it'd be fine. Like,
Yeah. Well, he had a shirt on, so I see that Little John has a merch store, and I realized he was
Ooh.
wearing his own clothing.
oh
How
yeah,
would you not?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. And his shirt just said, "Yeah."
yeah. You need that shirt for sure,
Yeah,
100%. Like that was a great shirt, 100%.
I mean, if we were better podcast people, we'd be wearing it right now, so our fans at home could appreciate that we were wearing.
Yeah, see you in your dark apartment in your shirt. All right, let's get into this house. So they have this is all in the basement, They want a gym. They want a gym, full gym. The budget for the gym is $7,000. Well, this is what Little John comes up with for all of the stuff in the thing. So there's going to be a lounge area that looks like the VIP area of a club. The budget for that is 10 grand. Then they want a bar. The budget for that is $14,000. Then they have a storage area and they want to make it secret. It's like a secret storage area. And so there's like a living room and bathroom and like
The
storage
one thing
area.
on that, which I find funny, they don't want to clean up the storage area.
Well, we'll get.
They just want to hide it.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So the living room secret storage area is the budget 17,000, and then for some reason this mom wants a stage, so they're gonna put a stage in this living room area for $7 grand.
So this was the worst decision.
And it's 55 grand, which is $5 grand over budget. And I don't know why they just weren't like, yeah, just get rid of that stage. You're back to under budget. I didn't get it.
No. You can't ditch the insanity here.
I mean, for this show, I don't think you get on the show without that stage.
So bad. Like
you needed you need something that makes this place really like stand out, or it's just like, yeah, we put in some fucking rooms you wanted. Like, right? Like it's got to be Little John. Little John they want a stage. Little John, like it's so thematic, right?
I mean, it is, but when you see them go for the stage, you're like, one, it's in like the corner of a room, so like just like practically, how are you going to look at the stage? And then the room turns out there's nowhere actually to sit and watch TV in the TV room.
Yeah. I was going to say that, like, so at the end of this, we see this living area, and it's not a living area. It's just like they put this weird ass fucking couch that sits like two people and a chair and next to a stage. So you can see the whole family doesn't even fit in this room. There's the parents and 3 kids. They don't fit in this room.
It's hard. It was made for like a photo shoot. Like someone's going to like lounge on a couch and that was it. It is.
And now they have this like weird stage cutout out of their living room that like, no, it's just wasted space. I agree with you. No, it's very silly.
Yeah. Like it looks cool. It looks very nice. It's just completely not functional.
It's very thematic.
Yes.
So like the theme is concrete and cognac, which I think is a great theme.
Very cool theme. Yeah.
And I think they did like the bar area and the lounge and like they have some neon sign all fit really well and look really cool. Is just this like living area that doesn't make any sense.
No. Like as a hosting entertainment space, like if you had a mansion, right, which they do not, and you wanted like your club entertainment space, super cool. But when you need like a chill spot,
well, the lounge is the chill spot. There's a TV in the lounge area. That's where you would go lounge, watch TV. To call this the living area is weird. I don't know what you do in this room. It is a waste of room. It's going to be storage in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they had a party.
Well, they probably had contractually obligated on this party So they have some clips from the party they threw at the end where they filled out this whole basement. I mean, I'll be honest, that stage would be really cool at a party. They got the like
Yeah.
really cool neon lights. They got lights on the people on the stage. You could do karaoke. Like, it's a good karaoke spot. I don't think there's anything wrong with cutting out a corner of your room to have a fun karaoke spot.
No,
But
that's fine. But also
the rest
then,
of the room has
yeah.
to be functional. And the
you
rest
can't
of the
see
room
the
was
stage from half the room.
I know the rest of the room wasn't functional. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. It's like, but the room has to be for more than karaoke
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah. Man, Little John.
Brian, what do you have to say about the stage?
I definitely thought like so much about like who thinks at a party, yeah, like, man, let's just fucking do some karaoke randomly, and like everybody else has to deal with this. Like you're
You're just having a karaoke party.
Yeah. But then just turn the gym into a karaoke room.
No, you can't do that. All right. So should we talk about the end, or should we talk about them making it? Do we care of them making it?
Don't care. Like,
do you care about anything, Brian? How was your life?
Yeah.
Do we need to call? Do you need the suicide hotline?
Do we need the audible, Brian? It's okay.
No, I love the Little John reveal though. Like basically like during that whole construction, they call up Little John and it's like, all right, let's see what you got, man. And he's just gonna roll with something completely off the wall. And they have to bring him back. Like if he was left on his own, he would have gotten that like lit up countertop.
No, he did good. Like, yeah, I think on the construction piece, obviously it was all hamming it up for the camera. Like, no, they had Little John come back and they showed that we only have an hour at the hardware store, and got to choose everything out. It was a nice little gimmick. You got to see Little John play it up.
You want to know how he's so good at this? Because he's a producer.
I got some minutia here around this whole like construction area. So they have this whole bit where they take out this wall and there's a staircase, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's a staircase. It changes how the bar works." And they call Little John. He was like, "What are you doing? Can you come over? What's going on? Are you leaving?" And Little John was like, "I don't trust you. I got to be there," and rolls over. Like, Little John wasn't coming over at all. But then they show Little John in the very next scene wearing the same shirt, talking to the neon light person. Like she was already coming over.
I didn't catch that. Oh, that's so good.
Like, it's like, what? This is the next scene. You got to at least cut it a little bit. Wear a different shirt. Like, it breaks your whole stupid story.
You do not care about the story. Nobody cares about the story at this point. It's just,
I know, but
watch him.
I think in general, people are giving these shows about like 25% like
attention.
Oh, very much. Based on my anecdotal personal experience, yes, they are made for 25%.
Whereas like we're watching it with 110%.
We did it
attention. And when we just pull apart, like, yeah, they weren't at that hardware store for now, where they budgeted as much time as they needed. Like this is obviously a fake storyline. The storyline about the staircase is a fake storyline. It's all bullshit. There's like Little John. There's some stuff about Little John and Anitra, just kind of like back and forth about like Little John will just make a decision, and Anitra just kind of stresses over the decision Little John makes, which seems very much like a real relationship you'd have if you have Little John as your partner. Like, yeah, I mean, like, Little John is who you're hiring here. It's not hiring me. You want Little John's crazy ideas, so I could see that being stressful.
Yeah, I mean, it also seems hard. Like, he's pretty well off now, right? Like, he's probably in the low 10, like probably 10 million-ish, maybe net worth.
Oh, way more than that, dude.
I'll look up
his net worth.
I got it. I got it, right? So Wealthy Gorilla, what the hell's that? But whatever. It's first thing on Google. They say net worth about 30 million.
Yeah, that surprises me that he's not worth more than that.
Really?
Yeah, he's in some really like banging songs that play all the time. He gets paid every time that shit plays, and like gets sampled and like
yeah.
Anyway, you work 30 million. You don't need to make Like this, the whole thing was 55 grand. Like, how much is he really making?
Well, just like
on-
how I would just assume he would lose touch a little bit, right? Like
yeah.
he's now been floating in a rich man's atmosphere for like probably 15 years now, 20 years.
I mean, this has to be a passion project for him because,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he goes to this club and, like, I don't know, like 300 people are there and they've all paid X amount, and he's gonna make more one night at a club than he's made for this, like, off this 55 grand. Like, he's only gonna make like
Easily.
5 grand or like maybe 10.
Maybe
Maybe.
that. I mean,
The margins probably not that high on the hard margins aren't high in this kind of business.
that was another beef I had of the show. The prices are way off in the show.
Oh,
Like they were saying they could do all this for $55,000, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can make this a gym room for $7,000. We can make this like a whole drinking
Yeah.
room for $10,000."
Yeah,
And
we
for
already-
$10,000, they
we
made
already-
a custom couch that wrapped around the room. They got a big screen TV. They redid the walls, put down new flooring, painted everything. I'm like, no, that does not cost $10,000.
You're saying it costs more than $10,000.
A custom couch itself would be $10,000.
That's fair. I mean, I agree with you. One thing I was going to say is they kept being like, they were putting up these mirrors on the gym room and they were like, yeah, if we did a whole row of mirrors, that would have been like $7 grand or whatever. We got these for $300.
Yeah,
Very cheap, very economical. They were very much like I think this is one of those notes you get from the producers when you make these shows. It's like, okay, everything's got to be a deal. So you can't you got to put in the little deal like things that go in. Like,
they
we're
do
gonna
that
do
a little bit.
we're going to do this
Yeah.
flooring because it saves you a bunch of money, or like,
Yeah.
you don't have the budget for this, or like this countertop was $300.
It's a very common, I'd say, tactic. They'll either do that where it's like, oh, here's a great alternative, or here's something we found at like the local knickknack store. But they'll also, similar to Patty, they like to showcase their like local supplier.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed that in this show. I don't know. I don't watch these things, so I just assume it's standard in all these shows. But I don't really know.
So they don't, unless the show focuses on like getting something at value, like for value. They don't focus too much on like.
Yeah, this show was not focused on this. It was just like, oh, this is a deal. Oh, this is how much this thing costs. It wasn't like, oh, this couch costs us $8 grand because that's all the lumber and the charge for this dude. Like, no, it was just like the whole thing costs X amount,
Right. But the net of it in a normal life, not TV show, this remodel is not $55,000. It is way more.
Yeah, I mean, they did do a lot, and I have no idea how much things cost, so I'm not going to say. But the furniture, I agree with you, was custom, but there wasn't a whole lot of it.
No, having done some remodels, maybe 2 of those rooms you get away for, maybe.
What did they do to the gym? They did nothing. They didn't do anything to the gym. They took out a door.
They took out 2 doors. They patched
one
up
door.
the wall.
They took out 1 door.
Oh no!
There were 3 doors. Now there are 2 doors.
Yep.
And they put up some mirrors.
They put down new flooring.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at they took down all the walls. They took down a bunch of walls. They put up new walls. They painted, and that really changed the pace. And a new ceiling. Now, how much does that cost? I don't know. Probably 15, 20 grand, I'd imagine, to tear down walls, put up new walls, paint them. That sounds kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And then what else did they really do? They didn't really do much else. They put in that couch, that other garbage couch, and they put in the bar, and then it's a bunch of electronics. I could see this being 55 grand, but the show makes it seem like they did monumental Herculean efforts to do
Well,
stuff.
I think you're right on the gym, and they said the gym was 7,000. So I think they are doing things at 50% cost here.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of overhead in their 55 grand. I think that that's like probably what it would cost, but maybe the show will change the numbers a bit. The numbers could all be made up. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true. Yeah. Yeah, we need someone who knows the numbers.
Yeah. Can we get a producer on? We need the producer on this. Somebody tweeted them. We're doing a podcast.
I'll do some research. What I'm coming across on the corner, because obviously you got to be on the corner when you're potting. There is a trap music museum outside Atlanta. I would not have guessed that, and it looks great.
The couple things in this like remodel that I think were pretty cool. I think they took the door to the gym, which was right to the left as you went down the stairs, and they put like it's just a giant mirror on the door, which in the long run, I'm not sure how well that mirror is going to hold off, but it really does make you go right to the right, which is like the cool hangout areas and not to like the gym area, which I thought was a neat trick. You know, you're learning neat tricks here. I'm learning them, you know?
Yeah, it was cool.
And then we could talk about the storage area where they just put like a dresser in front of the door. Like the doors ended up being dressers. So you open the dresser and it opens into the storage area. So it looks like a dresser, but it's really a door. Unclear how well that really works. Like the guy seemed like he could just pull it and open it. And it's like, well, can you really put in that at that point? Like can't put really anything super heavy. Anyway, regardless, that was kind of cool. I'm not sure how that works in the long run. You know, it's also in that weird space that has no function. So what's the point?
Right.
And obviously the piece de resistance was the VIP area. That was super cool. The couch looked nice and comfortable. It's difficult to say with like a custom couch how comfortable that really is, but it like literally looks like beds. So, you know, could be, could not be. I don't know.
Hard to tell. I mean, the little sofas they made did not look comfortable. They looked like
the kidney bean sofa.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
No, you don't want seating at a party. You want to get up and dance.
That's true. So you're trying.
It wasn't on wheels though. You could wheel that out of the way.
Yeah. Just push it over, like dent the wall.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, that's true.
Get it nice and flush with that wall. You know,
just perfect like, sitting on it, and it's just like it comes out from back behind you because you forgot to lock the wheels or something.
Perfect kidney bean shape for the wall. That'd be great if they had they like dented the wall. So you like, okay, when you don't want the kidney bean couch in the middle, you just put it flush against this wall. Yeah, I thought they did a good job. I think that I'd be very happy if I gave Lil Jon 50 grand and this is what you gave me.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have asked for a stage, but they did. So they got it. So yeah, that's, I don't know if anyone has any other minutia they really want to talk about.
I'm just upset we haven't figured out why the C was on their door. That's burning in my mind.
I loved Lil Jon bringing tequila for like the showing and the modeling, and they all had to do a shot on cam, and they were not happy about it.
And then the basement was just filled with alcohol, and these kids are not drinking age. There's like a decanter with cognac in the VIP area with glasses, and then there's just like an open wine stuff. There's like a wine fridge and just like this bar stocked with alcohol.
The dad seemed very excited to teach his kids how to drink.
He seems super excited about the bar. That's his thing.
But he's like, yeah, we're gonna teach them like before they go to college. Like that's his whole thing. It's like, all right, buddy.
They want to be the the cool family on the street.
They gotta be the cool family.
Yeah, the party room.
Yeah. Oh, there was a joke the mom threw down, which the best line of the show. She said her band was named Joy Subdivision, which
That was
so
pretty good.
It was excellent.
I don't get it.
There's a pretty popular, famous band called Joy Division.
Okay, I believe you.
No, there is.
Okay. I get.
Yeah.
No, I believe you. I just don't know who that is.
Totally. Yeah. So she's like Joy Subdivision, Suburban Mom.
Oh,
All right,
one
I got
line. One line that I saw that was really good. They were tearing down the basement or whatever, and somebody said, "Torn down for what?" And that was
the mom again. The mom's on it.
A plus line. Brian.
All right. My final minutia is there's one point where Little John has to go to Vegas. Cool. Calls up his partner at like 2 a.m. and he's like, yo, I was just on Etsy and I saw this thing. Motherfucker, you're not on Etsy in Vegas.
This is his like reasoning for the kidney bean garbage couch is like, I saw it on Etsy. Or like, no, that was his reasoning for like, he was at like some Mexican hotel or something.
Yeah, he's just traveling and he's like, I saw that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't really believe that story, but sure.
No. You scroll Etsy when you're lying in bed, like trying to go to sleep, and then you can't imagine Little John doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas, you're not leaving that club. You're like performing at 2 a.m.
Yes.
You're not leaving at 2 a.m. when you're the headliner at some club in Vegas.
No,
so
definitely not.
2:30 a.m. Yo, check this couch out. It's sick. Yeah.
They just had a bunch of footage of Little John like being. I don't know. They could have staged a lot of that. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I thought it was fun. I thought the storyline was okay. Like whether it's real or not, it doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
Especially in the moment, it's just like, oh, okay, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Should we get to some questions?
Ooh, the questions.
And this one we have been struggle. This is a struggle with who's the worst human being, and I think we're gonna struggle again.
I mean, maybe the dad because he's encouraging underage drinking.
I was gonna go with the mom for wanting a stage in their basement. That doesn't.
I like the mom. She had the best lines in the show.
Okay, I have a question. Does anybody know who is dealing with the fucking cat that was letting it pee everywhere in the basement?
Oh,
because that's the worst human being.
What about the cat? Should the cat be the worst human being?
No, the cat.
No, the cat's just trying. The cat's just being a cat. It's up to you to put a litter box down there and like clean it. You know, so it's the parents for not cleaning their litter box enough, and then that place smelling like cat pee. There we go. That's what we got.
That was really the whole thing. $50,000 clean my cat pee.
So I'm guessing then it's probably the youngest kid, right? That's got to be it.
No, it's not the kid's responsibility to raise.
Look, even if you get like your kid as a pet and you say, "Yo, you got to watch or walk your dog every single day." If that dog's not getting walked, it's still your problem because the dog's gonna poop in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, no, you got to take that dog out, or you got to pay for a grass patch to be delivered to your house.
So yes, you got to take care of the problem.
What do you think the production schedule on this show is? I think this is an interesting one because like Little John goes in and out, so it seems like they're just like, you know, they just have a film crew for this person. Like Little John's not just coming in every day, like leaving and coming back every day.
They also don't have many in progress shots where like they're not on location that many times, right? So I think it's very difficult to tell.
It's just like they filmed for like a week or two while Little John is around. Then they go do all these jobs, and the Little John comes back and they film like reveals.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it.
They
like,
also
they
also said that they were doing this in a week, right? Or was it like 2 weeks? Because they mentioned the furniture was gonna like they only had 7 days to do with the furniture.
They did say something about the furniture. I forgot about that. I guess I was giving this like 90% attention.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well.
I think
I
it's
don't know.
okay.
It might be just cheap enough to have like a camera guy for this. They're in LA, right? So it's not like extraordinarily expensive to be like, okay, schedule a camera crew to go out with them whenever Little John's back in town, you know?
Yeah.
So
Cam Crew Falls Little John.
right? So I don't think there's a set production schedule for this. Like these house shows can be a little weird where like, you know, this construction took, I don't know, like 2 weeks and you're filming a couple other things in between, but you can't really do too much because like somebody's got to be, depends on how much these people are really doing the renovations, which these people didn't really seem to be doing a whole hell of a lot of it. It was just like that Patty dude. You see some of him making some stuff. So if they just hire external, like it could easily be like bang, bang, bang. Lil Jon designs like 4 of these, and then they like, you know, they spend an hour at the store for each one before his flight while they like pick out things for each house. You know, it's not like insurmountable to design like 4 or 5 of these at once.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Probably like a month or 2.
That's actually a fair point. Like you can have like paralyze at least like 2 of the houses, and then just like handle the decisions for those 2, and yeah, that's just taking a week.
All right, we've speculated enough. I think let's move on. Let's do drinking rules, and obviously you got to take a nice big swig when they make a Little John song reference. Let's get it out there. Anytime they say torn down for what, or to the windows, to the walls.
Yeah.
You taking
no sweat.
You taking lots of drinks.
I mean,
Brad,
yeah.
I'm so
Noah, what do you
excited
got
to
for
hear
me?
like all the different things that they're gonna do over this season. Right, go on.
I mean, yeah, I was just gonna say like during the construction, not destruction. They definitely were lost out tuning with the sweat. You know,
Brian, what do you got for me? Oh, the sweating. That's a good one. She's just like sweating. She references sweating constantly in this show.
Every time you think, what the fuck is Little John on right now? Like when they were doing like fawning over that sign, like it's musical equals life. You gotta chill the fuck out. You're not that inspirational.
Yeah,
but he signed it. It's his signature, Brent.
It is.
That's cool. Cool. I don't care.
Maybe we should do some stock ones for like HGTV shows.
Ooh, yeah,
this could be a good time to do some of that. Like anytime you see a sledgehammer like take down like a wall or something, take a drink. Like that's
anytime they talk about the budget.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Brian.
I have a deep cut.
Anytime they go over the budget, take a drink.
I have a pun intended deep cut every time they talk about live edge tables. Take a drink.
Anytime you think something's like gaudy or you wouldn't want in your house with a 10-foot pole, take a drink.
And then maybe you want it after your 10-foot drink.
Yeah, if you want it, you got to finish your drink.
Or somebody makes like a terrible pun or a terrible joke, like a dad joke, take a drink. I feel like that's not this show. Not a lot of dad jokes in this one, but like HGTV, like all dad jokes all day.
All dad jokes every day. Every day.
Question. Where does Yola fit into this joke business?
Yeah. Oh, forgot about that.
What is a Yola?
It's YOLO, but then hello. Or Ola.
You see,
that was at the very beginning, and he dropped it. It's great.
It was so weird because he said Yola, and then he's like, yeah, it's a mix of YOLO and hello. But Brian had it right. It should be a mix of YOLO and Ola. Yeah. He said it. He was in the car talking to Anitra. It was like the second segment.
That's a great HGTV one. If they're talking on the phone in the car.
Oh, that is a good one.
Oh, so no. So building an HGTV one, there's unexpected drama with the project.
Oh yeah, like this
Taking
this
place.
wall color is off. The whole feng shui of this
No,
whole thing is off, which is an example from this show, this
the
episode.
plumber found a leak.
The
No.
I didn't
That's a
even
good
think
one.
about the wall color thing and how cliche that is because I was just like, oh, Little John, like just being Little John. It's of course this is
No,
gonna bring up that stupid drama.
that's a stock. That's a stock
Yeah.
problem, Brian. Like this is a stock show
Oh,
with Little
100%.
John, and that's fine. Anyway, we'll get into the ratings. I think. Let's do who's gonna hook up next.
Whenever there's a single lady like remodeling her home, Little John and her.
Do you think you have to pay more for that or less for that if you're the single lady?
I think there's a lot of variables in that.
Well, obviously it's going to be hot. She's going to be hot. Like if she's not, like you're right. The hotness level changes is in the equation.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about that.
I mean,
It's just how everything is.
so if we're going on hookup, so we have the mom and dad. They're hooking up, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I
That's
assume
fair.
so. The only other characters we have in the show are the kids. They're in high school. They're probably
Okay.
testing the
Noah,
waters on things.
who's going to hook up on one of those beds in the VIP room first? The kids
Definitely one of
or
the
the
kids.
parents?
Kids.
I don't know. I think parents.
I think it's going to be kids.
Wow.
I think we're gonna go with kids. So we got 2 kids, 1 parent. Tweet at us if you have who you think it's gonna be.
And tweet us if you know. You have the inside scoop on
If you're the
this. Yes.
kids, tweet at us.
No,
a photo
don't
of you guys
just
banging
don't do that.
on the
No.
And let us know your last name. What's with the C? Is
Now
that,
let
is
us
that your
know
last
what
name?
the C is.
Does that stand for something?
All right, let's do what you love about this show. Brian, what do you love about the show?
I mean, the obvious answer is Little John, but I'll go away from that. I'll actually go with like how much more hyped the people are for this. Like everybody going on this is like, yeah, like I'm gonna get like some cool remodel, but they actually seem kind of fun about this. Like it's not just like something, oh yeah, like this will be a classy improvement. Like, the stage, as gaudy as it is, like I appreciated it.
Yeah, that's good. No, what do you love about the show?
I mean, Little John brings like, a lot of goodness to the show. I like that. I like when they explore some of the options of things they could do, and I think they actually do just a really good job. Like, it's not practical, but I think they do a good remodel.
Not practical. I mean, obviously, I love Little John in the show. I love the intro segment with Little John. Like the intro segments for these shows tend to be so bad. To make this actually watchable and enjoyable to watch is insanity to me. So that's great. I love the reveals of these shows. I love to see just like a well designed house. Like, if I think personally, this is a show. Well, we'll do in ratings. So that's what I love about the show. I love seeing the end, and Little John brings like whole energy to this whole vibe of the whole show. It's good. Let's do our last question where we do stank ranking system, where we do top, middle, bottom, third compared to other reality shows. Brian, what do you got for me?
Bottom of the top. I really thought this was good, and I'm probably gonna tune into more. Like it's good background TV.
Noah, what do you got for me?
It's a middle, top in the middle. I've seen a lot of these, right? As I've mentioned, it's nice to have Little John on here. The one thing, though, out of a lot of these shows, Little John, besides adding his character, adds very little value to the job. He's the visionary, and yeah, he has some good ideas, but like in this space, ideas are pretty cheap. So it's watchable, but I actually think some of the other shows they pack a bit more story into the time because this is an hour show, right?
So long.
Yeah, like I think if they were to cut this to a half hour, this would push it to the top for me, and I think they can get there. But for that reason, it's not in the top; it's just top of the middle.
I think it's got to be middle third show. I think Lil Jon adds a lot. I like the intros and I like the exit. It could certainly be a watch the intro and then fast forward to see what they've done kind of thing. I think it would be fun to see like a surprise what they've done. That seems good to me. So I think that would be the ideal way to watch the show. And that way to watch the show, I think would be top third because I think Little John adding a lot. You get to see the old space, then you get to see the new space, and you cut all this like again. I've talked about this before, where like in the creative like competitions, you're like, this is the task, go do the task, see the end of the task. And doing the task just isn't that exciting. And you can make it exciting, and there's ways to do it. And sometimes you're in the mood, sometimes you're not. But this has the same problem of like doing the task isn't exciting. You're making up a ton of bullshit no one cares about, and only people care about is what the end result looks like. But you got to fill 18,000 hours of television every month. So like you're going to fill it with this garbage. And that's fine if you're a television network. It's not fine for me to watch it. So that's why you get a middle third. And I'm not sure any of these shows would ever get above a middle third unless you got to really hitting on some sort of strides that I'm not aware of. So you hit pretty high for like an HGTV style show. For me, this is probably the best one I've ever seen. I don't really watch any of them, so that's hard. I mean, that doesn't not really saying much. So I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm going to end it there.
It's okay. Ramble on, man. We are here.
We're here. We're here for the
another music tangent here.
Another music tangent.
Say to ramble on.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, everything's going right over my head today.
Okay.
All right, so that's our discussion for Little John. It went a little long. Anyway, let's do some shout outs. Noah, you have a shout out this week?
Yeah, so I finished Severance. It has 9 episodes.
Yeah, we had a big talk about Severance last week. Spoiler discussion last week. So
okay, I'll go listen to it. I'm glad I didn't listen to the pod yet. So yeah, that, I mean, for anyone who hasn't watched it, give it some time. But it definitely, you got to wait for the punch to come. So just give it some time. It pays off.
I say you got to watch the first 2 episodes at once.
Yeah,
I think that gets you enough to really hook in. 1 episode, not good enough.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty good. Finished We Crashed, and Theranos and the Uber one. Not all at the same time. I barely have time to binge. But they both or 3 of them are quite good. And the show that I'm like currently watching but can only seem to get like 20 seconds at a time due to taking care of the kids is Ozark season 4. I love Ozark. It keeps up. Favorite show.
I'm also watching Ozark, the second half of season 4. It's good. It definitely very emotional, a lot of hand wavy drug stuff going on, but it's, you just got to really buy in. Brian, what are you watching this week?
I started checking out this cartoon called Final Space. It's like a stupid like adult comedy animation, but it's just this guy in space trapped to it, and then finds this like creature in there, saves it from doom, but then it turns out this thing is like could really fuck up some shit. So he's like trying to help him out. It seems kind of fun so far. I'm not 100% hooked, so I might bail on it before next week, but I'm giving it a go because it's easy enough.
It's easy enough. What a glaring.
Well, I've only watched like first episode 1, episode 2. Like I can't like.
No, I'm giving you a hard time, and I really don't mean to. I just,
it's
know,
fine.
it's just it's just what you say.
You're getting spicy.
Spice.
Let's see. I think some great shows are on TV right now. Barry, very good.
Season 3. It started again.
Ooh.
Yeah, season 3. You got to get on Barry. Better Call Saul. The last season of Better Call Saul is very good. Better Call Saul, I think, started out okay, and then is turned into being really good.
Okay.
So it's like hard to like recommend it, but you know, if you could power through the first couple seasons, I think it's not bad. It's just it's not better. It's not like how Better Call Saul feels now, which is great.
That's good to know because like I when it was on season 2, I tried getting into it, and like I just couldn't. But then when the final season came out, people were like, "Oh my god!" Like this show is just hit its strides. I'm like, "Oh man, okay, I gotta
Yeah,
check it
like
out."
there's a I don't know exactly. Maybe look up on the internet exactly where to like jump in because I don't think you necessarily need to jump in at the beginning
Hmm.
because it's very much a it starts out with Jimmy McGill, not
Yeah,
Saul Goodman,
right.
and it's like he's dealing with his brother who's a lawyer, and like they're like they have some weird relationship, and he doesn't like electronics. It's just like it's weird. It was intriguing as like a character study, but that's just like not what most people want out of TV. Whereas like
No.
now it's about Saul Goodman and like
Mm.
the cartels and leading up to Breaking Bad and all these things like that's exciting. Like
Yeah.
last season was exciting. There was like some drug stuff going on. That's exciting. People want to watch that. People don't want to watch your brotherly arguments about who's the best lawyer and who should be a lawyer and not be a lawyer and like and it's just anyway, I digress. There is one thing I want to discuss with Brian here about Moon Knight as
Well,
a
first,
like a spoiler discussion of Moon Knight. So I don't know
Noah,
if
have you seen it?
Noah
I don't even know what it is. Is this a book, a podcast?
it's the latest MCU TV show.
Oh, right, with that guy who's in a lot of stuff.
Oscar Isaac.
Yes, thanks.
Uh my what I'm going to tell you about Moon Knight is don't bother unless you really want to keep up with the MCU, which questionable if Oscar Isaac is in anything else again other than like a cameo or something. Um, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I mean,
I wouldn't really recommend watching it. It's fine, but I think like it starts out really strong and then gets real weak and then kind of ends okay. And like that's just not a good formula for a 6-episode TV show. Um, so that's my review of Moon Knight. I don't know if Brian has any.
I would disagree with most of that. Like, I thought it actually like really
Ooh.
like had a good story arc, and the more I paid attention and got like the nitty gritty details, I'm like, this is kind of a cool character.
I mean, that's why I want to talk to Brian. Spoiler discussion, so we can hash out
Ooh.
our differences on Moon Knight. So I don't know if Noah, you want to mute or
I mean, I don't give a shit.
okay, you don't care. So if you haven't seen Moon Knight and you don't want to hear our discussion about it, you can find us on Twitter at Who Put This On and tweet at us all the things. Okay, that's what we want. Answer the poll. All right, so let's talk about Moon Knight. On like more of a spoiler discussion. So like, there's like 2 episodes of the show without the Moon Knight. Like, he's just some guy with split personality disorder, and it's just wild.
Whoa.
And for a show called Moon Knight with 6 episodes, there's just I don't know. You don't have enough bandwidth to have like all the things that happen. Where like you come in, the one guy doesn't know he's a split personality disorder. Then he finds out, and then, he breaks the laws of goddom by going to Egypt, and then, he like loses them, then he dies, then he goes to the afterlife, and then he like there's like a whole episode in the afterlife where he's not Moon Knight, and then he mysteriously comes back once Moon Knight's back. Like it's just the plot is nonsense.
But that's also what makes it like kind of wild, because like a lot of the like we're getting to like the part of like the Marvel universe where it's not really grounded in anything. Like it's like growing. So Eternals, as bad as it was, like it's introducing like that concept of just like universal gods. Like this is talking about like another set of gods, that like the Egyptian gods that are supposedly always there.
Yeah, I think that my main thing here with the Egyptian gods is I don't know anything about them. And the show gives no breathing room to the gods. There's Khonshu, which gives this guy Moon Knight powers, which is whatever. And then there's this other god that has some sort of scale powers that kills people if they're gonna do bad things in the future. And that's like it. Like there's other gods in this, but like they don't really explain who they are, what they do. There's some sort of like god in the afterlife, but then she's not in the afterlife and she's like in somebody else at the end. It like this whole thing just like speeds and doesn't give any of this stuff any room to breathe.
I think you're right on that, where like it introduces like a lot of like unknown, because that's also like a bigger part of like Marvel at this point, where they were like introduce like they were diversifying a little bit and like going to like, oh, like let's like actually like bring other people in than just like white people and like and all that, like getting like
This says the
expanding,
one
like, a different
about
market.
all the English white people in this show.
Well, I mean, like yes, but it was also supposed to like highlight like the Middle East and Egypt and stuff like that.
I
So
think personally, as I watch a series of television, I want a grounded arc from like one character that like goes through like a fun, like you start at point A, he gets to point B, and like, there's like a thematic connection of like you had a fun adventure. Now you start out with Steven finding out that he has split personality disorder, which how does he not know? Like his life doesn't make any sense to me. Like once you move on to this, and then he reconciles by the end that now they're Steve and Mark together, but then there's a third personality and you're like, what the fuck? Like you did nothing with a third personality. Where did this thing come from?
nobody like we've been made to believe that it was like the second personality all this time, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, that wasn't
Ooh,
us. Like there's so much
what
more to unlock.
what a stinger. I just
Yeah, but like
uh,
that's just like something like we also don't understand, because like we've never maybe like even like experienced anybody with it. Like it's just a super foreign thing to us.
just Brian, just explain to me how Steven has a life and Mark has a life where Steven works a job and Mark works a job. At least Mark knows that Steven's a thing, but how does Steven work at this gift shop without getting fired?
I mean, well,
Like,
we've just watched Severance, so like
unless like Mark is doing that job too. Like, I don't know how
I mean,
that works.
it's also a fucking gift shop. Like, who really
I agree
cares?
with you, but if you work for the London Museum, it's not just like the guy, it's like the downstairs neighbor that has some sort of fucking ritzy, stupid chinky shop. And like, there's generally like two people in there and no one's buying shit. Like, this is the London Museum. This is not a, ritzy environment. If you don't show up to fucking work at the London Museum, you're going to get fired.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, it's
That's
pure
all
magic
it
how he
is.
does that.
Like you can't just show up 3 days after. You can't just show up to work for 3 days and then show up on the fourth day and be like, what do you mean I wasn't here for the last 3 days? And like not just be escorted off the premises. Like you're just fired.
Insane.
Like there's no if, doubts, or buts about it. You fired. Anyway, that's a very minor nitpick. I just think that like the first episode was really strong. Like Steven finding out about Mark and like figuring out like there's like some god in him, and like that was done so well. I was so hyped for the show. And then they get to Egypt and it all just falls apart. Like there's like this other guy trying to wake a different god, but then they go to this pantheon of gods, but you don't know how to get there. You don't know where this other guy was, but then he shows up in there. And then it's just like so many, like, I just don't understand anything that happened in Egypt. And then they needed the they needed the Moon Knight god to like figure out exactly where it was going, but then that breaks Moon Knight powers. And it's just like, oh my God, it's just exhausting. Like you're just like so plot driven. You're not sitting with a character at this point. You're just like, it's just bang, 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 bang. Things are happening. That's like not good television.
Well,
It's like watching
I would-
SVU and like, this guy murders this guy, murder. Like, it's just like, I'm not watching these shows to like have random events happen. Like, I want character depth and like struggle and like, I don't know. I didn't get any of that from the show.
there was a lot of character struggle with just dealing with the whole multiple personality stuff, and even like dealing with like Khonshu, like this other foreign spirit within him. There's so much there, and like they were all like involved with like one another, but then like yeah, there were like other events like happening, but like it was just like, hey, like here's like the next step in the story. Like I will also agree that like that pantheon of gods like didn't quite make sense. Like I don't know why the fuck did they would ever think that that was like a good idea? Like just nobody's gonna
Literally, that's
believe
where this show lost me. He's just like, there's a pantheon of gods. He's trying to convince this guy, but the other guy just shows up and he just lies, and they're just okay with that. And it's just like, all right, I guess this is nonsense now. Like,
But
it's
like
just
yeah, we still learned about like a bit of like the whole like gods thing, just kind of understanding that there's just this vessel concept, and we don't know how many gods there are really, but like there's like a few few core ones that if you did know like Egypt,
mythology.
Egypt mythology, yeah, like you would be able to recognize some of them.
I think the main thing for me about this show compared to the other MCU shows is there's real goodness in this show. Oscar Isaac is fucking acting his balls off in this fucking show. Like, he's playing 3 or 4 different people and fucking nailing it. Like, you fucking believe these people. But like it just doesn't flow well. There's like a couple good episodes that I think are really good. Like episode 1 is really good. When in the afterlife, learning about how Steven like was created, really good. But like how they got there, what things are happening, like weird battles, like just all made the show feel just like, ugh, like to a point where I can't recommend people to watch it because I like it just doesn't flow right for me. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it like had a good flow, but like it's worse than the movies. I will give you that. But like they're still like getting their stride, and I think that like this is the best of the TV shows. The second one only being like Loki, and
Oh yeah, I mean that's the other thing is that like all MCU shows really got me because they're like I love the movies. The movies are great. Movies are like top tier like stuff. And then these shows are like, yeah, we're going to bring MCU to TV. Like we have much more time and it's going to be a better thing. It can be different and be better or the same quality. That's all I'm really asked for. And they're just not. And like this first episode really set the expectations far too high and crashed and burnt.
definitely going to disagree. But I also don't think that like this could have done a movie. Like not just about like the content that they put into it, but like I don't know if there would be like enough.
I'm not saying this could be a movie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like the movies are really good. The shows aren't. Like Loki also started out really strong, had an interesting and good ending, I thought, for like an MCU thing, but not necessarily a TV show. But like the other ones, like, at least Captain America, kept the same level of garbage throughout the whole season that I was never like expecting anything better from that show. It started out garbage and kind of ended garbage. And that's fine. You didn't set my expectations high. Where this show set my expectations high and just like didn't follow through. Do you think it's more emotional turmoil with this show than the other MCU shows? Because I think Oscar Isaac was great. And I think this character is great. I think this idea is great. And it just didn't work.
I really want to know like just if like you just like zoned out or something because there was like
I
so much
didn't
to this.
zone out, Brian. I didn't zone out. Like, okay. There's also just like thematically, this show doesn't make any sense. So you have a character with split personality disorder, and it would be useful to just kind of have, some discussion on what that would mean or, how does somebody live with that in the long run? And they kind of did a little bit where, you find out how the split happened, and then them reconciling, which was okay, I guess. It was just kind of like turns the split personality back into one, just okay, but it didn't. I don't know. It just didn't. You never explained how the original life was happening or how he was living, how he has a wife, but also works at this museum thing, and it just like I don't know, just kind of was weird. And then there's this whole like God thing where like Moon Knight goes around and kills the bad people that have done bad things. Okay, makes sense. But then there's this whole like God that comes and kills you before you do the bad things, which is a whole like big philosophical thing of like predetermination versus free will. And like not once was it ever discussed whether these are predetermined events that were going to happen or not happen. And it didn't make any sense. It was just like, okay, you're going to be evil, so we're going to kill you. And okay, there's a lot of implications for that, and we're just going to wash right through it.
I don't think like there needs to be an explanation. I think it's just supposed to be like just.
It was supposed to be
marked as evil.
No, it was supposed to be some sort of foil garbage, and that's what it was, and that's why the show wasn't very good.
That's what it was. Just like, oh, like the bad guy just like randomly judging people. Like that was it. No.
Yeah. What do you mean? They didn't talk. The extent of this thing on the show was foil. Like, I'm going to judge you and then you're going to die for no reason or not. It's like, that's it. That was just like, I'm going to touch you and you're going to die or not. Like, that was it. There was no discussion on like, it was just like, Khonshu was the Moon Knight God was just like, yeah, that's bad. That's evil. That was the discussion.
Yeah, but then also like at the end when Khonshu's like, "Oh, kill him," then it's like that sparked the whole discussion about like, oh, whether like Khonshu's like really good.
I'm not talking about Khonshu, I'm talking about the other person.
Oh, okay. I felt like you would like talk about like the discussion of like which one was like actually evil, like whether any of them are even good.
Well, neither of them are good because they're both killing people. But within our modern sensibilities, like 2,000 years, sure. I mean, there might be some different sensibilities, but like the fact that you could, weigh somebody's, good or badness and then determine if they should die or not was like given zero conversation. It was just like, this is what's happening. And I think a lot of my problem with the show is that this is just happening was very rapid in this conversation. Like at some point, Mark and Steve are separate people in the underworld for some reason. And then one falls off the bridge and then the other one gets to go to heaven. But he can leave heaven to go back and turn to stone with the other one. And I just like, I don't know. I just don't know, Brian. Things happened.
Like, I think
I get the only thing as a character piece for that is like, one sacrificed the other one and then the other one sacrificed for the other one. But like that happens and then they're just stone. It's just like, why they're stone? How are they going to get out of this? Oh, they have some sort of magical thing that happens in the other real world. It's just like things happen.
Well, no, they like balance themselves and then it was just, that's like,
but they didn't balance themselves.
Yeah,
one just left.
No.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of it. Like they did like balance and then like they got like unfrozen.
They balance. So one gets to go to heaven and one gets turned to stone and they balanced.
No, it was after like they came back. Like I think also that like I'm not like really looking for an explanation of like everything. And that's maybe like where like what you're looking for.
I'm not looking for an explanation. I'm looking for a good TV show.
You're looking for it's like dive into like a little bit of like
I'm looking
like schizophrenia.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I gotta jump in because if anyone's still listening to this goddamn podcast, like
we've had 20 minutes of me complaining about Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
And I heard guys acting his ass off.
Yes. All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
We
But
gotta cut
I,
it.
I,
We gotta
I,
cut
I
it.
needed to check you
got it.
guys.
Brian is not making any good faith arguments why the show is good, other than turn your brain off. So there you go.
Mm.
No, it's like you're looking for like everything, and it's like
I
that
am
doesn't
not
give you the
looking
answer.
for an explanation, Brian.
No,
I'm telling
everything.
you, things just happen to these people, and you're like, "Yep, makes sense. Things happen," and I'm just like, thematically, like world building and action adventure kind of stuff. It fails. And that's where I'm going to leave it. If you have a
Okay.
final word, you can say it.
I'm okay.
And all right, so we're going to end it here. Tweet at me if you want to have a different discussion on Midnight. At the Chris Lorenz. You can find us on Twitter at Hoop of the Son. You can find us on Facebook.com/Hoop of the Son. Email us questions and suggestions at hoopoftheson@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time. To the windows, to the wall, to the sweat trap down my balls.
Y'all, you bitches crawl. Y'all ski motherfucker.
All ski, goddamn.